Part 15 of Matthew 6 1 to 6. I don't know, but the object is Jesus is still teaching. And I just noticed that all the time I've been putting part 15 off to the side, I forgot to change the part next to Jesus. I think I left off at 3 and I had like 6 videos saying part 3. But that's mistakes when you make or live errors there. And what we're going to do is, let's see, is that what I want? Yep, that's what I want. This was what was left over from last time, or what was finished from last time. Um, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I might have forgot to put the new edited ones in this area. So they will be in the next one, though. Beware of practicing your righteousness before men to be noticed by them. Otherwise, you have no reward with your Father who is in heaven. Not beware of it. Do not practice. In other words, just don't, uh, show it off that you're acting by obeying our Creator all the time. People will see that in you, but don't do it showing offly is what Jesus is saying here. And edit the word man to include women. Otherwise, we'll have no reward in heaven. That isn't, there's no more rewarding in heaven than to be in heaven. So this person doesn't seem to understand when they're editing this text that there is no better reward for the righteous is to live with our Creator in heaven as Jesus is our King. Therefore, when you give alms, I change alms to charity. When you give charity, do not sound as a trumpet before you. Hypocrites do this in your synagogues and streets. See, they had to do in synagogues and in streets. This is what the before is what I'm talking about by adding the word this. These words here don't need to be added. They can be removed. To be honored by man. Example, charity events, people like to come up and say, oh, look at how much I'm giving out as a check. No, that's sounding the trumpet. That's doing this as to show off. And this is what Jesus was teaching or is teaching against. Don't be doing those things. So they will have their, don't need, they have their reward, not in full either. I say they will be rewarded, and they are going to be rewarded by entering into heaven. So that didn't need a lot of explaining to clean up there. This text, this all seems to be a repeat of what Jesus just said. But when you give alms, do it and not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That's kind of idiots. They have Jesus speaking stupidly a lot of times. Like, you're in the control of your right and left hand, so they can't do anything without you being in control anyway. And your alms be done in secret, and your Father who sees you in secret will repay you. Our Creator is aware of us at all times, so you don't really, these just are added, but they're not added or needed once you understand this text here, or this command by Jesus. Just a second. Okay. when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, okay? Uh, you are not to be as the hypocrites can be cleaned up and say, do not be like the hypocrites. Do not be like the hypocrites. For they love to stand, or really, actually, we don't need whether they're standing or not. They pray on the street corners to be seen by man. I truly say they will have their reward in full. Um, this is almost counter what Jesus is saying when you put this word here. They're not supposed to be praying like hypocrites, okay? Standing on the street corner to be seen by others. And praying is to talk to our Creator, so you have to understand what the word pray means to begin with. But the object is here. Um, it doesn't matter whether it's in the synagogue or in the street corners or wherever. I love to pray on street corners in order to be seen by man. Because if you're in a gathering, you are praying and to worship our Creator. So in the synagogues, which was their gathering place, they're being told not to do this. But if you get rid of that, then you understand that praying is allowed at a gathering. So I don't want to say that you're not supposed to not pray in a synagogue or a gathering place. Um, so when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray on the street corners to be seen by man. Okay. Um, and I'm not sure why they're, let's see, when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites. Um, how does the word hypocrites get in here? Let me see what the text says in here, and I've got to go up here and move ahead. 6, what is this? 5. Okay. Where's the word hypocrites? Yeah, they're only going to be using the words hypocrites. So that didn't really help much here. When you pray, do not be hypocrites. Do not be hypocrites. When you pray, do not be hypocrites. For they love to. They're not really hypocrites at this point. That's just a wrong word. Let's see what the theorist says that we're, where's the review? What word? Do not be phonies. Pretenders. I'm kind of liking that word better. When you pray, do not be pretenders. Oh, that is I don't know what was. This has to be referring to what was happening at Jesus' time, because that just doesn't happen into today's world. So I'm having a hard time what Jesus is talking about, or why would he name them hypocrites? For they love to pray in the street corners seen by man. I don't. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this verse. This is not really making sense for today's world. Well, then it could happen in the future, and I'm not prepared for it. And I'd be getting rid of the verse here. When you pray, do not be, do not show off. For showing off, they love to pray on the street corners to be seen by. I'm just having a hard time with understanding. When you pray, do not be like hypocrites. Now, hypocrites are hypocrites, pretenders, so they really aren't praying. When you pray, talking to the Creator, that doesn't make sense. For they love to pray on the street corners to be seen by man. I'm going to get rid of this verse, plain and simple. I don't think that's really needed. I think when you're supposed to pray, you're talking to our Creator, so you wouldn't be doing in there. And if at Jesus's times, maybe that's what the Romans were doing, to worship their idols. But it makes no sense today because I don't think I've ever seen anything. And I watch a lot of things from around the world, different cultures and stuff, and I like viewing those. And I can't ever recall any time of something like this from any people or race or even a belief. I know the Buddhists like their beads, but they aren't going around showing off. They're just walking around doing this from time to time. No, that verse is out. That's going to be gone. That's got to be removed, plain and simple. Let me see. Pull this up and now remove that. Yeah, that was just not. I'm not. I'm not okay. Um, using the word hypocrites, and I can't think of a word that would be what we would all know today. And we got a vocabulary of what 60, 70,000 words we use today in English, and there's a big blank drawn here over this. Okay, I'm gonna move on. When you pray, when you pray, that doesn't need to be double speak. So when you pray, do this in your home. Yeah, this is replacing this, and this is what he's teaching really. So this is what he's commanding. When you pray, do this. You don't need to go into your inner room. That's just ridiculous. Just do this in your own home. And you don't have to shut the door to pray. You're talking to our Creator. You shouldn't be shy of that in front of your family from time to time. But then again, that might not be what you should be doing, except for maybe on the day of rest. That would be, I can see that being done on the day of rest. Teaching your children and your family how to pray and what you would do. But when you're personally talking to our Creator, um, you don't need to shut your door. You just need to be in your home, and our Father is watching you. Who is in secret? Your Father who is watching or sees secret, you will repay you. All this repaying stuff is just not really needed here in this. who in secret, you don't need to not do it in secret. You're um, to share with your creator or our creator your personal feelings and needs and wants with our creator. Yes, that's one-on-one. You don't even have to do it verbally. You can do it in your head. He can hear you. He knows he knows what you're inside and outside. So your thoughts, he is well aware of. For your father is watching. Okay. When you pray, do this in your home, for your father is watching you. Now, this doesn't mean that a gathering place that you um, shouldn't do this, but there might be a need for that. So I can see that there could be um, some reasons outside the home to do so. Say it, you're at a hospital. Say you're at gathering around the family and the sick is at the house, and that it say like at a nursing home or a clinic or something like that. So we can find reasons that uh, Jesus would understand, just that this is strict rule, don't go around it type of thing. That isn't the intent of what he's teaching here. Um, Here, do not do it in meaningless repetition. Example, you who say the rosary. Yeah. You've never read this verse. Obviously, um, I don't even know why you're praying to Mary. Mary is nothing. She can't fulfill the priest. She can't, she's not sitting next to Jesus to say, hey, I hear this guy over here or this woman over here praying to me to forgive her. Can you do that? That isn't what's going on. Our creator uh, is the one who you're supposed to be speaking to. Okay. So when you're pray and you're praying to our creator, this is, like I said, a one-on-one. So when you do not say meaningless repetitions. Well, anyways, um, like the pagans. Now, saying things over and over and over. Yes, there are some religions on earth that do this now, and Jesus is saying, don't be like them that do this. Okay? So, do not be the Father knows what you need to be asked. Well, this is just not needed at all. You should know that's what you're talking to him about it. So, you are given those thoughts. Our Creator gives us our thoughts. So, no, this verse doesn't need to be needed here. And this here, they think that they're going to be heard more if they say the word over and over and over. So when it says, do not say meaningless repetition like the pagans, don't do it. When you pray, do not say meaningless, do not say these with meaningless. Yeah, you can see that I'm going to clean this text up again some more. I don't need to edit it again here. That's coming in the next video. So here, this is the text that's so far cleaned up. And I'm going to just keep going here. Now, this is Jesus not understanding the difference between what a prayer is and what a petition is. And when you say these words, Jesus saying pray, then in this way, not repetitiously, but when you pray, and I'm saying pray is talking to our Creator from time to time, but a petition is asking for Him from Him. So when you see some of the text that's going to be coming up, this is a petition, not a praise. So when you petition Him, do it in this way. My Father, Holiness is in your name, okay? Not hallowed. Not hallowed. Okay, let's take a look at what the word hallowed they have is. This is name. Um, keep holy, sanctified. You can't sanctify our Creator. Yeah. Um, it just holiness is His name. Okay. Um, oops, over here. I'm looking for a click over there. You can see that I'm replacing the word hallowed with holiness is in your name. Our Creator is the title Father doesn't carry along with holiness. So, and you don't need to know that whether you are in heaven, you are in heaven. Our Creator is everywhere because everything is our Creator's. Okay. I mean, you have to understand the beginning of what we call the universe. There was nothing there except for our Creator. The Genesis will be corrected and cleaned, and it'll say, our Creator hovered in His emptiness. Okay. And then He separated Himself from emptiness. So He created heaven. Then He sent part of Himself back into the universe. And that's how the universe has come about. So everything that you see and can think of and how large and all the material that's out there is just a fraction of our Creator. It just lets you know um, the vastness of emptiness and how large our Creator really is. um, it doesn't matter on what scale you are. He shows us that by just having us the way we are in this universe. And I'm sure we're not the only ones out here in this universe. Um, he's probably teaching more than I'll ever know about or could even fathom or think about of all his created beings that he's created. But the word title Father, my Father, holiness is in your name. I guess that's what I'm going to leave it as, although I'm, the title Father doesn't really mean holiness. My Father, your holiness is in your name. Yeah, I could add the word your holiness. Your greatness is in your name. In fact, that the word greatness fits better than holiness. I'm going to put that as a word that needs to be looked at and add it to this list. But I will leave it alone for right now. But you're petitioning our Father. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Well, that's not true. It's not his kingdom that's coming. It's when Jesus's kingdom came by your will, let that be done on earth. Let your will be done on earth. The whole, this, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, thy will, your will. That's all that's changed here is to your will. But it's Jesus's kingdom given to him by our Creator. Otherwise, we don't get to go to heaven. Okay, there's nothing there in any of his promises except for when he tells uh, uh, David where Jesus's kingdom is going to be. And that's in heaven. Then we now know we can go to heaven. When I ask people, why do we go to heaven? People just draw a blank because they aren't taught the truths, or people just don't think of these things as to figure out where is the truth that we are able to go to heaven. And it's all based around when Nathan came to came to David and told him, and then when David went to confirm it with our Creator, then he received a vision of the words our Creator saying that from your son's seed will become the king, and he will have a forever kingdom because it will be in heaven with thee. So here it has to be Jesus's kingdom that's coming, okay? And as you can see, I've got the words reversed here that Jesus is the king in this kingdom. So usually I would have this in reverse as meaning more for our Creator, because the king, then the last part would be for Jesus. But in this, I've reversed it to show that it is Jesus's kingdom, but it's given to him by our Creator, and it came by our Creator's will, done on earth. Okay, so it can't be done in heaven. So as it is done in heaven, no. Uh, Jesus had to come to earth first to receive his kingdom in heaven. So, um, when, so this type of, um, speaking when Jesus is trying to teach and he's teaching this, it's just not correctly said. I mean, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. No, it's Jesus that, Jesus would have been speaking that my kingdom came by your will to be done on earth. So when we say it today, it would be, let's see, my Father, holiness is your name. Jesus' kingdom came by your will done on earth. See there? Please give us this day. Please, yeah, this verse right here. Please give us this day our daily bread. Oh, there's a verse that I didn't have to edit or change. Huh, that's amazing. There wasn't any editing. I have to remember there's now, no, the other verse needed the word added. That might be the first one that didn't change. But it is asking for something. That makes this a petition and not a prayer, okay? Please give us this day our daily bread. And this is referring to the bread Jesus was saying that he is our bread on earth. And this is what Jesus is teaching as our knowledge from our knowledge from our Creator is leading us into heaven. So this is the daily bread that we are to be asking to receive daily. Okay. Now, if you say this over and over and over, that's repetition. It'll mean nothing. So Jesus is saying, pray like this, and he gives you an example. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to say 5 of these and 5 Hail Marys and you're going to be forgiven. That doesn't, that's useless words. You're saying useless things, period. It's all about your obedience through your whole lifetime, not those words that you're saying that the church teaches you, and get rid of those beads. Okay. And forgive us our debts as we have also have forgiven our debtors. I changed the word from debts to transgressions. Now, why? Not everyone forgive us our debts. It's actually, how do you, how are you in debt to our Creator? Forgive us our debts. Okay. How, you can't do that for our Creator. You're speaking to him, you're petitioning him. Jesus is showing you how to petition him. And you're, this debt is not really truthfully said here. So it has to be transgressions. Our, we are not perfect on this earth. We do have times that we are wicked. We have times that we might even pop up and be evil for a little bit. But the object here is uh, all this little bit of wickedness and lying and stuff. This is what we've done against our Creator, that we have this transgressions against our Creator, that we didn't follow exactly everything. And we're asking this forgiveness for our transgressions as we forgave our transgressors. Now, this is Jesus, excuse me, this is also Jesus using what he has been telling us in the verses above, how to walk with others and how to forgive them. If someone in need, give to them. All these things that Jesus is talking about, we are to forgive. Say that somebody says, I need to borrow. I need this right now, and I'll pay you back. But if they don't, then don't keep reminding them. That's up to them to come to you and say, I remember I borrowed from you and you did this at a time. Don't remind them that they owe you. Okay. So this is what Jesus is teaching here, is that you forgave them because you want to be forgiven. Okay. So forgive our transgressions as we have forgave our transgressors. In other words, you first have to be a forgiving person to be even to say something like this. But you would be that type of person if you were obeying our Creator, because your righteousness builds up in you, and you know what you shouldn't be embarrassing or uh, uh, reminding other people. Once you give, be done with it. It's up to them to come back to you and say, I thank you for this, and here I have it now, that I want to be able to still remain friends with you. Because people that once borrow and come back and borrow again, come back, borrow, and they're never paying you off, they aren't in need anymore. Okay, they're just using you. So be aware of what Jesus is teaching here. Now, do not. Our Creator is not the one who's leading us into temptation, okay? Lead us not into temptation. Uh, just using the word not in a different place. Lead us not into temptation. Meaning that, like I've said before, every thought has a lower thought than the other. And it's always to take the less, or the one that isn't the lesser of the thought. Okay. This is how it leads us not into temptation. And what you're asking, you're petitioning here, is not to have all these thoughts. Okay. But to deliver us from those, especially from the evil. But the object here is lead us not into temptation, because our Creator gives us everything. I don't care how sick the sickest, evilest person is. Our Creator's still giving them their thoughts, and one thought is always lower than the other. They keep taking that lower thought. That's what takes them to evilness, okay? That's why I'm saying always don't take that lesser, or yeah, take not the lesser, but the other, and you'll be coming closer to our Creator. But this is Jesus explaining how you are to petition our Creator, and this is another asking, lead us not into temptation and deliver us from evil. In fact, I think when I started this verse and said, do not lead us, he does not lead us into temptation, is really us. He gives us our thoughts, but it's not him who does the choosing. We do the choosing. So I guess it's that kind of do not lead, I'm getting rid of. It's lead us not into temptation. Okay. Meaning giving us more, and we keep choosing the lower of the two. And to deliver us from evil, to deliver us from evil. That just stands for what it is here. Now, when you see this here mark right here, oh, this little arrow right here, this and this at the end of it, this is another way of them saying that they found text from another manuscript. When you looked at all the manuscripts, a lot of them didn't have it, and some might have had this. So they said, we'll use it, put it in. Okay, now, being that you know that they're added, this really isn't needed, actually, because thine is the kingdom and power and glory forever. Amen. Um, it's not our Creator's kingdom that we're going to. We're going to Jesus's kingdom. So Jesus wouldn't be saying that. For thy king is thy kingdom. Okay. When anytime you're reading about a kingdom in heaven, this is Jesus's kingdom. Okay, in heaven, and that's why we're allowed into heaven. We need to meet certain standards that our Creator has told us to live by, and then He will decide with His compassion and mercy, and Jesus understands that compassion and mercy, and allow them into heaven. Say those that have been abused wrongfully, and they take it out on our Creator by saying, "Why'd you do that to me?" I still think they're going to heaven if they try to live a good life, even though that they um, might not live and believe a Creator exists. Okay. So I can see how the law is all about compassion and mercy, because nobody is perfect. Even if you try to do your best in listening to everything our Creator has done or told us or commanded us, we aren't perfect. But the object is it's by part of the word forgiveness is this compassion and mercy, those feelings of deciding whether to be forgiven is what I understand as those who will enter into heaven. For if you've forgiven men of their transgressions, your heavenly Father will forgive you. Well, actually, this has already been said, but I'm leaving it here again because this is pretty much after how he was teaching how to pray, because that's the end of how to pray. This is the next verse. So it's just another like command that he's giving. I say, by forgiving man's transgressions against you, this could be anyone's transgressions against you, your Father will forgive you. In other words, you're supposed to be understanding that you transgress and you want to forgive those, and then ask, and Jesus showed you how to talk or petition our Creator, how you'll do this and deliver me. So here it's just cleaning up this verse and understanding that if you do show this forgiving of transgressions before our Creator, not in front of everybody else saying, I forgive you, or sometimes you need to say that ahead from them, but not as a reminder, and then talk to our Creator about it. Then our Creator, He will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men, then your Father will not forgive your transgressions. Holding grudges is what we're seeing here. And myself, I've held grudges against people, I would say, forever. But I'm not going to, I'm hoping our Creator overrides them because I know that we are to forgive them, but I'm not going to sit there and petition our Creator over and over and over about that transgression by those people. So the thing here is once you forgive, then be done with it. I'm done with it. It just depends. Don't get carried away and keep doing repetitious as even in forgiving somebody. Okay. Get on with life and avoid those people. But pretty much, if you do not forgive man, then your Father will not forgive your transgressions. So make sure you forgive them. But if you don't forgive them, our Creator has a mark against you for your transgressions. That's what Jesus is saying. Okay. And then the text here will be the end of this video. So this is what's cleaned up, which I think I removed. What verse did I remove? 5. Okay, it would have been at the top one. Let me go up here to where the last one was. 5. That one needed to be removed. That's what I was stuck on that last time. I knew there was something going on that I forgot. But the object is that's what the text will look like for these verses. And if you notice that we're actually still in chapter 5, still talking, or Jesus is still talking. So there is no true separation of his teaching. So like I said, when you look at chapters and verses and how they broke them up, they didn't do them truthfully. They done them to force you to use words specifically this way. That's the only reason why they put these numbers on and the way they divided up the sentence. And then when they divide it up, you can see they keep adding words to it. Even today, they keep adding words. Even the verses that are completely stupid, they keep adding words to the verses because they're double speaking. They're not really speaking to you and telling you about our Creator who created everything, and He is a being who created everything. They don't believe we have souls until you have this meditation sex practice with a female goddess and you become gods. How can a title God then refer to gods and be used as the same? Secular world is very confusing to me. How can they use the word God and gods and mean they're kind of like the same? No, they can't be. One is definitely, the title God is supposed to be omnipotent. We don't even come close to that one. Even under their practice, they don't become the true title of the word God. But anyways, that's the kind of confusion I want to take out of the text and say, hey, I didn't know I was blocking that, but let me get rid of me for a second, and then I'll shut the video off here and call that one done, because I don't know if I got two videos popping up at the end of these videos or not. But there you go.